This Grade 1 listed building is believed to be Britain's oldest working post mill. But whereabouts in the country is this wind-powered landmark? Find out in just a couple of moments. Today's house hunting couple have a big budget but a tall order to find a house that suits them and their son's family.
It's not my taste, but my daughter-in-law would love it.
I'm hoping we can deliver something truly impressive.
I'm speechless.
Again, this is good.
Yeah.
Today, I'm in Surrey in the village of Outwood, and this is thought to be the oldest working post mill in the country. So called because the entire structure is balanced on a central post carved out of oak, which then allows one single operator to manoeuvre the entire mill single-handedly according to the direction of the wind. Now, legend has it, when this was under construction way back in 1666, the workers were able to climb right on top and see the Fire of London raging away some 20 miles in the distance. Now, although today this mill no longer grinds grain, she's still in pretty good working order. And if you'd like a go at turning the mill yourself, then the good news is you can, as it's for sale, along with this 3-bedroom converted stable block for a rather breezy £900,000. Surrey is a home county in the southeast of England, bordered on all sides by 6 counties, including Greater London and Hampshire. Although within easy reach of the country's capital, Surrey has a well-deserved reputation for leafy tranquility and spectacular scenery. With 153 miles of paths crisscrossing glorious rolling countryside, the Surrey Hills stretch across the North Downs and are a designated area of outstanding natural beauty. The River Tillingbourne runs along the south side of the North Downs and passes through a number of lovely villages, including Shear, whose authentic Tudor architecture and unspoilt streets have attracted artists and filmmakers for decades. Surrey is also home to some beautiful market towns, such as Godalming. In 1881, it was the first town in the world to have public electricity. And in 2013, it was voted as the best place to live for a good quality of life. Let's not beat around the bush. Surrey is extremely expensive. The average cost of a detached home here comes in at around £611,000. That's more than double the national average. On top of that, it's also home to the most expensive town outside of London, Virginia Water, where prices regularly average £1.2 million. Incredible, isn't it? So let's hope today's buyers have deep pockets to match. Let's meet them and find out. Retired teachers Helen and Malcolm have been married for 46 years and have a son and 3 grandchildren.
We met when I was at Goldsmiths College training to be a teacher. Malcolm had a friend who was at Goldsmiths who went out with a friend of mine, and we all met up in the holiday.
The rest, as they say, is history.
They bought their current 4-bed Edwardian house in Teddington, southwest London, in 1979, but the area is almost unrecognisable from when they first moved in.
Many, many more people, many, many more houses. When we first moved here, it was a lovely, quiet, riverside village.
I feel closed in this area. I didn't when we were first here, but I do now.
There's a parking wall on every street, which drives me nuts.
They bought their house 35 years ago for £46,000. But in just 20 years, house prices in Teddington have risen by over 350%.
We've had it valued at £1.8 million. According to the estate agent, we live in a bubble, somewhere where everybody wants to buy.
Helen and Malcolm won't be moving on their own. Their son and daughter-in-law, Alistair and Jill, are also selling up, and they're going to pool their resources and combine budgets. Ideally, they'd like a big house for Alistair's family and a smaller self-contained annex for them.
By moving in with our family, we would help them buy a bigger house. We become close to the grandchildren, and at the same time, we downsize.
Hopefully, the move will be good for family relations.
Living with the family, oh my God. It would depend on the property. If we're cheap by jowl, it probably won't work. But if we have enough space between us, then I think it'll be brilliant.
They've chosen leafy Surrey because it's more peaceful, but also close enough for their son's work and the grandchildren's school in Guildford. Malcolm can't wait for the open space and countryside views.
I really am an outside person. I enjoy sailing, riding my motorcycle, and you never see the sky in town. And what I enjoy is more sky.
Helen hopes to spend more time painting. She's also thrilled at the thought of living with her grandchildren.
My grandchildren mean everything to me. They are a chance to relive your life. It's wonderful to watch them develop, help them out when things don't go so well. It's like having your own children, but in the end, they're not your complete responsibility.
And you can give them back.
Yes.
Malcolm, Helen and their son's family would ideally like to be within a half an hour's drive from the county town of Guildford, where their grandchildren go to school and their son Alistair works. I'm meeting up with them on Surrey soil to discuss the details of their big move. So welcome both of you to the Surrey countryside.
Thank you.
You've got over that blue collar, the M25,
Yes.
and then suddenly the fields open up.
Wonderful.
Is this what you're after? I mean, why the countryside now in your life, Helen?
More space, more sky, fresh air. That's what we want.
Sounds ideal, but it's not just for you, is it?
No, the grand plan, as it's now called, is to sell two houses. Ours and the house of our son and daughter-in-law.
So your house is in southwest London.
Yes.
That market has been cooking, bubbling and overflowing for the past couple of years.
Extraordinarily.
I imagine you've done pretty well out of that.
We didn't buy the house to make money. We've lived in it for 35 years. We bought it to live in, and it's been a lovely home for all that time. The fact that we now need to downsize as well because of our age, it's just a lucky time that it's worth so much money.
So you're looking to downsize, yet you're looking
Shall
to...
I tell you what we're looking for?
Go ahead.
We're looking for a 1 to 2 bedroom cottage
Right.
with a 4 to 5 bedroom house attached.
Yeah, slightly the other way around. OK. We need to find you a property that gives you your own space, sanctuary away from the grandchildren sometimes.
The thinking behind the grand plan is that they get instant babysitters and we get instant daycare.
One comes hopefully a long time before the other.
Thank you for that.
So let's talk through this tick list, because it's going to be quite extensive, I imagine. Go for it. How many bedrooms?
4 bedrooms at least, but preferably 5 in the house.
For the family?
For the family, and 1 or 2 for us.
OK. They'll want a big family kitchen, right?
Yes, yes.
How about you guys? What do you want?
A small kitchen would be fine. I like small kitchens.
OK. So let's talk budget. What's the final budget you settled on?
Well, the grand plan involves selling our house,
Yeah.
for which we would hope to get 1.8 million,
Yeah.
and selling theirs, for which we would hope to get 700,000. So put the two together, we're looking at £2.5 million.
Even I could work that out. That is a substantial budget, of course, in a very expensive part of the world.
Very.
But I know the market fairly well around here. I know we can get a substantial house.
Good.
It's going to be difficult because we're also shopping on behalf of people that aren't here. So you've got to put their wants and desires into your heads as well.
Yeah.
Yep, we can do that.
All right,
Yes.
let's get going, just this way. For an exceptional combined total budget that includes Malcolm and Helen's £1.8 million, as well as their son's family budget of £700,000, they're looking for a large traditional property with 5 bedrooms and a self-contained annex for themselves. They'd all like a good-sized garden. We've lined up 3 stunning Surrey properties to tempt our buyers, but I won't be revealing their respective prices until the end of each tour. Our final mystery house will leave them marvelling, but will it work for the whole family? Our first property lies deep in the Surrey countryside, 16 miles from Guildford and just 2.5 miles southwest of the nearest village of Betchworth. A pretty village on the north bank of the River Mole, it has 2 pubs and a local forge that can make bespoke items for the home and garden. And the beautiful Grade 1 listed St Michael's Church dates back to the 13th century. It's a 10-minute drive to our first house, an arresting 17th century farmhouse with an Elizabethan barn conversion. Now, if we pause here, we get a good look at our first house.
Well, stunning. I think it's lovely.
Is this part of the property?
That's all in. But that used to stand in Suffolk, and it was dismantled brick by brick, timber by timber, and reassembled here.
You've done well.
Well,
Speechless.
let's go inside. First, I want to show Helen and Malcolm the main part of the house that their son and his family could live in. It's beautiful, with many of the original period features still intact, including the exposed beams in this large living room. I think you'll be quite impressed with this room.
Oh, my goodness. Isn't that wonderful?
Beautiful, yeah.
I'm speechless.
Well, again, this is good.
Alistair and Jill would both love it, I'm sure.
I know you want separate accommodation, but you will all hang out together, I take it, will you?
Oh, yes. One of the things we do an awful lot of is babysitting, so I expect to be in here quite a bit, babysitting.
To the rear, there's also a cosy snug which leads to a conservatory with garden views. I'm going to show them the kitchen and breakfast room. Just mind your step there, Helen, coming up. Your son and daughter-in-law like open plan, don't they?
Yes.
This is it, isn't it?
Perfect.
Perfect.
In unison.
Has everything you want. Lovely table down there to eat at.
Your grandchildren won't thank me for it, but that is, with Alistair and Jill maybe doing a bit of cooking here, that's homework table. There's no escaping, is there?
Homework gets done on the family table.
It does, yes, at the
still
moment.
does,
so
yeah.
that is somewhere where they could work.
All the fittings are presumably handmade.
Handmade, this is a bespoke kitchen.
Yeah.
So, if all this has gone pretty well, let's start thinking about where you're going to live. Let's go to the other side.
Right.
Down the hallway is a dining room that leads to the annex. I think with a few adjustments, it could be just what they're after. Now, at the far end of the house, I just want you to take in what this room is. Dimensions, features, but also think about that door, OK? Follow me? Because when you come through this one, you can see now you've got your very own access, self-contained, all right? A small room there, and now ignore the bed and think of this as maybe a walk-through living area and a small kitchen. Now, you said you didn't mind a small kitchen.
That would be big enough for me, yes.
It's not a huge accommodation, but now think about that dining room we've walked through. If you blocked that door off, because you've got your own door there, I thought that could be your bedroom.
Yep, that's perfect.
Upstairs for Alistair and Jill, there are 3 good-sized doubles, 2 slightly smaller ones and 2 family bathrooms. There's also another potential option for accommodation in this incredible period barn. You've got storage or garaging on the ground floor, which is great workshop space. But up here, this is something quite different.
Oh, gosh.
You might notice some stage lights.
It's a theatre.
It is a theatre, with a minstrel gallery above.
Oh, my.
I've shown you an amazing annex, but if you did have desires to have something more grand, wouldn't this be an amazing project to work on?
Well,
in the
I've
long
already
term?
put the
Yeah, well, there you go.
bedroom there. The bathroom could be perfect. Absolutely perfect.
It's a big project, of course it is, but maybe it's something long term if you really did get bored.
Well, what we would do is have summer accommodation and winter accommodation.
Goodness me. Now you're talking. Well, look, I want you to just know this is here. Let's go outside, have a look at the outside space. The grounds of this house seem endless. There's even a tree house in one of the old oaks that I'm sure would delight their grandchildren. Now, if you look behind, you can see a paddock.
Yes?
Oh, is that part of it?
Yep, and there's another paddock just beyond.
Goodness.
To the left, you see a gateway.
Yep.
There. There's a little bit of woodland. Looking back at the house, he comes back up here. Indoor swimming pool, outdoor swimming pool.
What?
All in all, around 5 acres.
Gosh.
5 acres.
That'll do.
Right, now.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
It is a lovely setting, isn't it?
It's
Wonderful.
a wonderful
Wonderful.
place, beautiful house, beautiful setting.
Is the price beautiful?
I have no comparables, so it's a pure guess.
Give a stab in the dark. No one's going to hold it against you.
2.5.
2.5 million. OK.
2,750.
Well, then you'll both be pleased to hear that this place on the market for offers around £2,250,000.
Gosh.
Really?
That is good news.
£250,000 under budget.
Under budget.
That's good.
That'll help.
Wouldn't it just? Why don't you go and have a look around? Maybe the master bedroom and all the bedrooms that the family will use, and then just have a scooter around the outside space. Just go wherever you want, and I will meet you whenever you're finished. All right?
OK.
Thank you very much.
Thank
See you
very
later.
much.
See you in a bit.
OK,
Enjoy
cool.
it. Don't get lost or fall in the pool. Look, this is a massive house. They've got a huge budget, but this budget is to provide 3 generations of their family, and I think this house could do just that for them. At £2.25 million, this 17th century house is under their combined budget by £250,000. With 5 bedrooms for Alistair's family, it also offers a self-contained annex for Malcolm and Helen, as well as 5 acres of land, swimming pools, paddocks and a barn conversion. But at 16 miles from Guildford, it is a little further out than they'd like to be for their commute.
I think it's a wonderful house. It's full of character and charm, and nothing that has been done to it has spoilt any of that.
Well, that's the family bathroom. Oh, my goodness me. That's a wonderful room.
I love it, and I think that my daughter-in-law and my son would love it too.
For us, it's wonderful. The peace and quiet outside is just perfect. And the gardens are sensational. My main concern is its location and its distance from Guildford. I'm told it's 35 minutes by sat-nav. Whether that will be acceptable to the family, I'm not sure.
Have you seen enough?
I think so. We've seen everywhere.
There's
Lovely.
a lot to see, isn't there?
There is.
And do you think it'd suit the whole family? Yes.
I think it would, yes.
Great news. OK, well, that's 1 down. Maybe a tick next to this one. Let's see if we can get 2 more. Either way. This rolling vineyard may look like it's in the south of France, but in fact it's deep in the Surrey countryside and part of a growing trend for English wine. In 100 AD, the Romans planted vines in these very hills. Nearly 2,000 years later, winemaking is thriving again, thanks to the White family, who have turned this 265-acre estate into Northern Europe's largest vineyard. We've sent Helen and Malcolm to meet Chris White for a tour and to discover what makes English wine so special.
Well, welcome to England's largest vineyard.
Well, thank you very much. Why here, in the middle of Surrey?
Well, Surrey is the home to a lot of the North Downs, and the North and South Downs of southern England millions of years ago used to be joined to the Champagne region of France. So we have exactly the same chalk soil, so it's ideal for vine production.
Chris's vineyard has 18 varieties of grape that allows them to make a wide range of wines, but they mainly focus on white and sparkling.
The conditions we have here are perfect for aromatic, fruity wines. To produce the sweetest wines in the world and full-bodied reds every year, the climate is just not ready for it. So the majority of what we produce are the still white, aromatic, fruity wines.
And you must be just coming up for harvest.
We're just about a week away now, so it's got a nerve-wracking time of year, but very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Should be a record year for us, both in terms of quality and quantity. The summer really has been just fantastic for us.
Choosing when to harvest is perhaps the biggest decision a winemaker has to make. And to help with this judgment, they hand sample some grapes.
We're looking for 3 things in the grapes. We're looking for the sugar content, we're looking for the acidity, and we're looking for, obviously, the flavours in the juice. We'll make a visual inspection to make sure we don't have any problems with the grape bunches. There's no sort of mildew setting in or anything like that. So ideally, you want them all to look like this, which is a slightly yellow in colour, slightly translucent, whereas you can see the ones down here are slightly deeper green in colour, which means they're not quite as ripe.
The level of alcohol in the finished wine is determined by how sugary the grapes are. Chris uses a refractometer to measure their content.
This is where we'll be testing for our sugar levels, which is measured in Ursula. Ideally, we're looking for about an 85 Ursula level, which gives us a natural alcohol content of about 11.5%. So if you'd like to pick yourself...
Pick me a grape, don't
yeah,
you?
what you need to do is pull the Perspex flip back, and then very slowly squeeze the juice. There we go. And if you look through the lens at the bottom...
70 Ursula.
As these grapes are at 70 Ursula, they will need another 3 weeks to reach 85, and they'll be tasted in the field as they develop.
I could drink that.
Very nice.
Once the grapes are gathered, they're gently crushed. When the sugary juice is released, it reacts to the wild yeasts that naturally occur on the grape skin, and fermentation begins. After about 6 months, the first white wines are bottled at Chris's plant, and then the tasting begins.
In this variety is the ones that you tasted a minute ago. It's the Müller-Thurgau.
Okay. Oh, gosh.
Can you taste those flavours?
It's quite dry and sweet at the same time.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's an off-dry wine. Getting very fruity, very aromatic. Quintessentially, it's a very good example of what an English wine is all about.
What would you drink that with?
Well, you can have this as an aperitif, or you could have this with pasta or chicken, something like that. You know.
It's very fresh.
It is very fresh, very fruity.
Tasting,
but
yeah.
I love drinking this on a summer's day, sitting out on the patio, drinking this.
What's not to like?
Absolutely perfect for that. Well, I hope we've opened your eyes to about English wine in particular, and you've enjoyed yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck with the rest of your house hunting in this area.
Thank you very much indeed for your
Cheers.
hospitality.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it very
Good luck
much
with,
indeed.
with the harvest.
Thank you.
Back on our house search, property number 2 is a 35-minute drive from our first offering. Situated on the outskirts of Dunsfold village, it's 3 miles west of the larger village of Cranley. Home to over 9,000 people, it has a wide range of shops, a weekly market on Thursdays, and a thriving arts centre which keen painter Helen might enjoy. A 7-minute drive takes us to house number 2, a handsome Grade 2 listed property. Now, I know you like old properties, so I thought we'd try Georgian mostly.
That is an amazing house.
Now, look at the gable ends of this property. You can see these more Edwardian-looking structures. They are Edwardian extensions. And those blue bricks, apparently according to a learned local, is North Chapel blue.
Very elegant, very grand.
Come with me. We're beginning with this spacious kitchen in the main part of the house where Alistair's family would live. You said your son and daughter-in-law like old outside, new inside, and open plan.
They would adore that.
They would love this kitchen, yeah.
Absolutely adore it.
It's not my taste, but my daughter-in-law would love it.
Off the kitchen is a small sitting room, 2 utility rooms, and access to a large cellar. Across the hallway is this dining room fit for a banquet. What do you make of this room, then?
Oh, dear.
Ooh,
Oh, my goodness.
an amazing room.
What a tale.
I think you could have a few guests around this table.
This is true.
Certainly you could.
We're going to look at this fireplace, look at that.
I think the word's going to come out over and over again is grand.
Now, I know this is in the main family part of the building, but now and again, you'd borrow this room, wouldn't you? Come on.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I could sit there, and she could sit there.
And you'd never need to talk again.
No.
Follow me to the reception room. Another reception room there, which is a playroom. An office. Well, look at this, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Lovely room.
And then you've got a snug here in the winter if you want something smaller.
Yeah.
Now, we're putting ourselves in the headspace of Alistair and Jill.
Yes.
Their sort of design, their sort of feel.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it would be fine.
There's a separate entrance at the back for a section of the house that could become a very nice self-contained annex for Malcolm and Helen. Now, I just want to pause here to give you a flavour of your accommodation. Now, living room clearly needs a bit of work. Small kitchen, almost the smaller the better by the sounds of
Yes,
it.
that's fine. No problem.
But this could be a bit more traditional. This could become a bit like a wing or a cottage. OK, so ground floor accommodation here.
Own front door.
Your own front door, yeah. But you can still be connected and your accommodation gets a lot plusher upstairs. Come with me.
I don't believe this.
So up on this first floor, you've got a big double bedroom there with its own ensuite and dressing room. You'd think that's you sorted, but no. We're now going to the main part of the building, of the main home. But what you could do is this. You could put a door here so you can access that part of the building. Then all this becomes yours, which means that family bathroom is yours with separate shower.
But that's huge.
Quite, and so is the master bedroom Did you see it?
Yes.
Look.
Yeah. Very nice.
If Helen and Malcolm turned this wing into their annex, it would leave Alistair's family 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and on the second floor, a lovely beamed office. The space in this house is matched by what's on offer outside. All this land,
Wonderful. Somebody's put a lot of
Beautiful.
work in.
outdoor heated swimming pool, tennis courts,
Right.
and paddocks. All in all, at least 8 acres.
8 acres.
8 acres.
That's a lot of land.
That's a lot.
There are also a number of outbuildings, including an impressive barn that could be converted. So, how much do you think this place is on the market for then, Malcolm?
Must be over budget. I would say 2.65.
I would say top of our budget, 2.5 million.
Well, good news for you both then. This place on the market for offers around £1.95 million.
Gosh.
Wow, that's a surprise.
Why don't you guys go back into the house and scoot around any way you want?
We will do that.
All right?
Can you send out a search party for us?
Yeah. I'll give you half an hour.
Right?
Well, it is a big house. I was worried they might think it was too big, but Malcolm, I think he's fallen in love with this place. Helen, I'm not so sure. Maybe it's a bit too contemporary in places. We'll see. Just over £500,000 under their total combined budget, this property offers the potential of a self-contained wing for Malcolm and Helen, as well as rooms with period features and a contemporary style for their son and his family. Finally, there's the added bonus of beautiful grounds for the children to enjoy.
My goodness, this is a large room. Well, there'll be plenty of space here for desks.
Don't forget, this is part of the grand plan. The children are going to be angst-ridden teenagers soon, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I have to remind myself that I'm looking at it for my son and his family to live in, and from that point of view, I have to think that it is ideal for them.
I think the annex would be a good living space for us. In fact, an over-generous living space, far more than I expected.
That's all we're going to see today, so I'll take you back and a new day tomorrow. All right?
Thanks very much
Thank you.
indeed.
Yep.
It's the second day of our property search, and we're helping Malcolm and Helen swap the traffic-laden streets of Teddington, southwest London, for the serenity of Surrey. They have a whopping budget of £1.8 million, which they're combining with their son's family budget of £700,000. Coming up, we go grand with the Mystery House.
That is amazing.
And I get my lycra ready. I was hoping to meet you halfway up. I'm already spent, I'm at the bottom. Well, I always thought it might be tricky looking for a huge property when only one half of the decision makers are present. And yet today I thought we had mixed successes, really. Helen and Malcolm liked the properties, albeit having different favourites. So today, as it's the Mystery House, we're going to turn this search on its head. We're going to focus even more on what Helen and Malcolm are after in a home. And if that works, if they fall in love with the Mystery House, well, then it's up to them to convince the rest of the family that this is the right property. For our final property, the Mystery House, we're heading north to the village of Bramley, which is just a 20-minute drive from the historic county town of Guildford. Set in some of the most beautiful countryside in Surrey, it would offer fantastic family walks at the weekend. The high street has a variety of shops, a library and a number of cafes and pubs. Bramley Church, dedicated to the Holy Trinity, dates from the 12th century. It's a short 5-minute journey by car to the rolling fields and farmland that surround our Mystery House, or perhaps I should say houses. Now this really is a Mystery House. It's very different.
I'm intrigued. I'm looking at that.
I'm glad you are, because that could be yours.
Ah.
That is for the family.
Uh-huh.
But I don't want to focus on the family house this morning. I want to talk about your accommodation.
That just looks sensational.
And you've even got options with this as well. Shall I show you?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The renovation and conversion of this Grade 2 listed period barn has just been completed. Now then.
Oh, not all I expected from the outside. So it's modern.
Slightly bigger kitchen, but not too big.
No, not
All
too
right.
big. Yeah.
Know that this is here because everything from now on gets a lot bigger. I think this 33-foot-long living space is absolutely stunning.
Oh,
Oh, crikey.
my goodness me. That is amazing.
Up there, you've got 2 small bedrooms
Uh-huh.
and a bathroom.
This would be multi-purpose. Office there, maybe.
Yeah.
There's room
Sitting
for
room over
everything,
there.
yeah.
There's room in the kitchen for a dining table.
I think it gives us tremendous amount of space to live in, much more than I expected, and more than we've seen anywhere else.
Quite.
Absolutely perfect.
And to all intents and purposes, this is a brand new house. Underfloor heating, electric points everywhere, double glazed. You know, you're getting all the benefits of modern technology, yet you've got, hopefully, what you described as atmosphere.
Yes. Oh,
It
so
does
bags of
have
that.
it, yeah.
Bags of that.
Now you've got your own separate accommodation. You've got a separate home, which is what you said you were dreaming
That's
of.
what I would like. That, to me, is the dream.
Now, I did say this mystery house gave you a couple of options. This is only one. If you want something a little bit more conventional, follow me. 10 years ago, the current owners converted the stables into a self-contained 2-bedroom annex. So there is another option in this building. You've got a living room at the end. Then you have a bathroom with a bath, not just a shower, unlike the last place. Double bedroom, or living room, swap if you like. And then at the end, a decent-sized kitchen, but hopefully not too big for you, Helen.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So, of course, we've been loving walking around these 2 buildings, but we haven't yet seen where the family are going to live. So let's go to the main building now.
Okay.
The original main farmhouse was built in the 19th century. It is habitable, but could benefit from some redesigning and an extension. The property is currently unfurnished. And just mind your steps here. It's on a few different levels. So you've got a living room through there at the moment, and then this is the main family kitchen.
Uh-huh. Bonquettes. Well, you put the table in front of it and there's your kitchen diner.
It's an odd design because that's the rest of the kitchen there.
Now, there is planning consent in place to muck around with this.
Right.
And extend out that way. Now that means, according to those plans, that this would become a bit of a sort of walk-through-y dining area.
Right.
The living room is a lovely big dining kitchen.
Right.
And then you've got a lovely big living room going out that way.
there.
And then bedrooms above. Would Alistair and Jill, do you think, be prepared to live as this is at the moment?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
they would.
Upstairs, there are currently 2 large double bedrooms and 3 singles. There's also 2 family bathrooms. But before they explore, I want to show them outside and give them a chance to savour the views. It sits in about half an acre.
And the fence is the boundary.
You got it. What you see is what you get.
The views are phenomenal. They're just beautiful.
So how much do you think this place on the market for?
Much less land. I'm going to be very cheeky and say 2 million.
OK.
I'm going to say, because of the amount of work that needs to be done in the main house, and there is a lot of work to do to make it the sort of house that Jill and Alistair would like, despite that amazing barn, I'm going to say 1,950,000.
Well, maybe you should have been cheekier. This mystery house on the market for offers around £1,595,000.
Goodness.
Perfect. Which gives you, or Alistair and Jill, the change to spend on that house. Well, I think what you need to do now is have a look around everything that you haven't yet seen, which is probably mostly all in there.
Yes.
And then I'll meet you afterwards.
Okay.
OK?
Thank you very
Enjoy
much.
it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
At a handsome £905,000 under their total combined budget, the Mystery House leaves substantial funds for the work and extension to the main house. The separate barn conversion is more than big enough for Helen and Malcolm, and the stable annex adds another option. It's all set within half an acre with stunning views.
Bathroom, quite a reasonable
Family
size.
bathroom. With the chance of an extension to the main house, I think that could make it into a sensational living space for the children to grow up in.
This house gives us the most wonderful accommodation for us, away from the main house. It's beautiful, it's open, we could live very comfortably here. It is quite beautiful, and I do just love it.
So, all done?
Yes, extraordinary.
Hopefully this mystery property has got you scratching your heads now.
Unbelievable.
It has.
I mean, it's just too difficult.
Well, let's find you somewhere to have a bit of a chinwag to help make you that decision, shall we?
Sure.
Okay.
Just this way. Just 19 miles southwest of London, on the Surrey North Downs, lies Box Hill, which offers one of the best views in the southeast. For centuries, people have flocked here to escape urban life and enjoy the stunning scenery. Today, almost 1 million people visit Box Hill each year, and for the last 100 years, the area has been in the hands of the National Trust. I've come to meet Lynn Richards from the charity Friends of Box Hill to learn about its history. So, Lynn, what are we looking at here then?
On a clearer day, you would be able to see the South Downs. You can see Dorking over there, Rockham. You're looking out over the Weald, essentially.
But this stunning vista could have been very different if it wasn't for the generosity in 1914 of one man, Leopold Solomons, a city financier and company director from London.
He basically saved Box Hill for the public. It was going to be sold to a developer, and so there's the prospect they could have had houses all over it.
Yeah.
And he didn't want that to happen. He thought the people should be allowed to walk over it and enjoy it in the way he had. So he bought it for £15,000, and then he gave it to the National Trust. It was 230 acres that he bought. It's now 1,400 acres.
Is it? So
yes.
The National Trust have taken their reins and ran with it?
Yes.
Leopold Solomons wasn't the first to appreciate the beauty of Box Hill.
As far as we know, the first record of it was Daniel Defoe in 1700. So for 300 odd years, there have been records of people enjoying Box Hill.
Now, I understand they built a train station later on, which really opened up to not just the middle classes, but to everybody.
Yes, they did. Because people came out of London, and this was seen as an exotic place to come to.
Yeah.
So they came here to spend the whole day, and they came by train, and they came in their thousands.
But what do they do? I mean, was it exercise? Was it parading and showing off? Was it Sunday best?
Well, they just discovered picnicking, so
Right.
they came here to picnic.
What else did people get up to here?
Donkey rides. Donkey rides were really popular then. On the donkey green, which is behind us, there were a number of donkeys, and at that time, a quarter of the income for running the National Trust estate here, the Box Hill, came from donkey rides.
Did it really?
Yes.
Now Box Hill is popular with cyclists, and the ascending zigzag roads proved the perfect challenge for the 2012 London Olympic road race. I've tried this route before, but I'm keen for new tips. So I'm meeting up with Rick Gregory of the Red Hill Cycling Club, who's been riding this circuit for 6 years. I was hoping to meet you halfway up. I'm already spent, I'm at the bottom.
This is halfway up.
And you come up here quite regularly, I understand.
Oh, once a month or so, yeah.
Now, for us cyclists, Box Hill, well, it's becoming steeped in legend now here in the UK, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, a true iconic one. It's a challenge that's doable for less than experienced people.
Is that what makes it so popular then?
I
It's a
think so,
challenge,
yeah.
but you can achieve it.
That's right. And when you get to top, there's a great reward because there is a cafe and a good view.
I'm keen to go with an expert who can show me the pace I should be going at and maybe give us some tips along the way.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Shall we go?
Yep.
Now be kind, Rick, all right? The zigzag roads have been likened to outdoors in the French Alps. It climbs 120 metres over 1.6 miles, and the whole circuit is nearly 10 miles long. The male British Olympic cycling team climbed this circuit 9 times during just one race. So have you got a favourite part of Box Hill?
In winter time, this is a good place because you can see through the foliage better. And that's just one vista. When we get around this hairpin, there was another one.
I do love these hairpin bends, though.
Oh,
just
great.
to make the climb a bit more interesting. There's a bit of technical awareness you need, isn't there?
Absolutely.
So one thing you do notice coming through here is suddenly smell that alpine wood, if you like. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. And as you go through the seasons, this is the bit that changes a lot too.
Well, of course, get to the top, or nearly the top, and
There you are.
you're rewarded by this amazing view.
One of the best views in the south of...
It's got to be, isn't it? It's
in the
gorgeous. That was nowhere near as painful as I seem to remember it. Very pleasant. It's all about the pace, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Should we carry on?
Yes, why not?
Let's go. Let's hope Malcolm and Helen don't have an uphill challenge deciding which house to buy. Well, Malcolm and Helen certainly seem smitten with Surrey. but they also seem rather taken with all three houses we've shown them. So let's meet up with them and find out if they're any closer to making a decision. So, have you managed to come to any kind of decision? Because you look confused when I left you.
Well, I'll start.
Go on.
I thought we'd given you the impossible task. And what you've done is come up with 3 solutions, all of them viable.
Now given you the impossible to try and make a decision then, Helen.
absolutely.
Yes, there are 3 different solutions, all of which work. So I'm now at a loss as to know which one to choose.
Let's try and unmuddy these waters. What is your favourite house to live in yourselves as a couple?
For me, my favourite property would be number 3 for
mystery
our
house?
accommodation, the mystery house.
Right, OK.
Absolutely.
Same for you?
Absolutely.
What do you think the favourite house would be, according to your son and daughter-in-law?
I think probably the second property.
All right, the big Georgian house.
Yes.
But if the work was done on the mystery house, the main house, they might like that as well, especially if they have an input into how it is extended.
It sounds like it's between those 2 houses.
But I think the first property deserves consideration. That's the house that I like the best.
But you like the look of it,
House.
but it's got to be a home that suits you all.
I think what Helen means is she liked the whole house.
Yeah, yeah.
That's her style.
But the accommodation-wise, that gave you the smallest accommodation for you guys.
Absolutely.
And you're half of this.
Yes, yes. Which is, as you say, maybe why it's out of contention.
OK, we've got the houses all sorted. What about the locations, then?
Well, I think, again, the mystery house comes out on top. We ain't going anywhere.
No.
But he and the family have to get into Guildford, and that seems perfect.
It's only 5 miles away
Exactly
from Guildford.
so.
That would be
Exactly so.
more convenient than either of the other 2 properties, I think.
Well, you know what? At the start of the day, I said I wanted to show you a house that focused on you. It's up to you guys to then sell it to the rest of the family.
Oh, we'll certainly do that.
You must let me know what you decide on doing.
Of course.
We
Yeah?
will. We
Of
will.
course we will. Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this all unmodels.
Yes.
Good luck. You will need it.
Thank you very much
Thank you very
indeed.
much.
If you'd have told me just a couple of days ago that Malcolm and Helen would be struggling to choose between 3 houses, well, of course, I'd have taken it. They do still seem a little bit confused, and they needn't be. They have their favourite property, and that's the mystery house. What they need to do now is get their son and daughter-in-law down here to choose their favourite. And if it isn't the mystery property, which I think it should be, well, that's when the fun starts, doesn't it? See you next time. Malcolm and Helen convinced their son and daughter-in-law to view the mystery house, which is now under serious consideration. If you'd like to escape to the country in either England, Wales, Northern Ireland or Scotland and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.